Lucifer itself, but I don't want to get too far off track here. Let me bring up the... I don't want to get too far off track and spend too much time on that, but let's see what we got. Jump to the screen share. Boom. First debut of the screen share. Let me know how it works. Okay, so yeah, I've done the full presentation about the etymology and all of the things about that, but this is one of my first really big sort of full presentations that I ever did. It's from a long time ago. It's from, I think, like 2013 originally. But yeah, it goes into a lot of that about, you know, the phosphorus Greek, you know, Lucifer's Greek phosphorus, which is Latin Lucifer, which means light bringer, lux, Lucius, lucere, the root of lucere, fere, to the light, to bring, to carry, the torch bearer, you know, the torch bearing of humanity. Let me bring up, let's switch back to, where do I have it? Let's see if I can pull this into the actual stream. Okay, my computer is pretty slow. I upgraded to a really fast, basically the fastest MacBook that I could, to try to be able to handle a lot of this stuff a lot more adequately. But ultimately, I need a desktop. I don't have a desktop because I don't really have a place of my own to, you know, to set up a good studio. You know, I need a good studio to where I can sit down anytime I want to, you know, get really deep into a lot of, you know, actually doing broadcasts and, you know, going into the, you know, the symbolism and all of the technological aspects of things like that. But let me see if I can pull something into a split screen here. Whoops, did that work? I don't know. Let's see if that worked. But yeah, sorry about the latency. I don't want to waste too much time on that. That's why it would be good, you know, in the future we will have more specific topics that we will cover, and we're going to be doing, you know, a specific theme of each broadcast, and, you know, that way I can have all of my, you know, video footage and all of my slides and all of my graphics and everything all laid out, you know, beforehand to actually do it like a presentation stuff. Damn, this graphic is humongous. I have to like shrink this down to extremely small size. I should have just done, maybe I could just do screen share on it. Let's just do screen share on it. Let's see if this works. Did that work? No, it didn't. Okay. So yeah, but again, going back into that. So Thoth, you know, who imparts the wisdom, gave, you know, the knowledge of writing, mathematics, you know, philosophy, geometry, all of the areas of science, of the areas of mentality, of mind, of thought. Thoth is thought, the archetypal. And I've got a huge piece that I haven't revealed to anyone yet about Thoth as to the physiological correspondences, as I like to do in all of my presentations, is going into. So we'll do this. I'll do a full video just for that. And I'll find a way to incorporate it into one of my future presentations somewhere. I don't really, but I do want to do a lot of shorter, more concise content, you know, 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute videos, so that way we can cover just maybe one image, one graphic, one slide, something like that along the way. So that way it's more concise, but we'll do that in the future. So I don't want to reveal that just yet, mainly because I know, you know, everyone else will take it and run with it before I have the chance to actually present it. And, you know, and that's the thing, is I want it to have a fresh impact when I reveal these things, because it is my original discovery. It's a little bit I mean, I know some people would consider it to be pareidolia, but it's far more than that. And I can prove, as you guys know in my presentations, I can prove that, from almost every aspect, every angle, this is far more than just pareidolia. I can prove it linguistically, archetypally, symbolically, and in most cases anatomically, biologically, whatever, all these other areas, astrologically, and all these other areas, they all tie together. And so that's why I like to do the full presentations, is that I can really just lay it all out, and it has a lot more solid impact. So that's why I don't really want to reveal these things just in a live stream, mainly because I don't want, other people to take it and run with it, take it out of context, to misrepresent it, and, or any of those things. And also, I don't know if I'm going to be ultimately planning on writing, on authoring anything about, some of these topics. Ultimately, I do plan in the future on compiling all of these articles and these presentations into a type of, I would like to do a book. I really would. Honestly, it's extremely daunting, and I don't want that to take away from what I want to do with the videos and the films, and I want to get this stuff out like as it comes. And I've already got too many other side projects all going all at one time, so I don't want to, do that. But also, I can't really do that because it's so symbolic. It's so visual. It's visual content and visual context. And I need to draw upon other people's, whatever is already in the public sphere. And I know it's not exactly, and this is why one thing I hate about the concept of intellectual property is it really is. I understand and I completely respect how crucial it is for, to keep people from just basically stealing your hard work and your hard labor and, selling it as your own. I forget who is on my stream, 666 or whatever, dude, 666 baby. Yeah, sorry, but you can't take my videos and bootleg them on DVDs and sell them on the street to, to everyone. That's why, is because it's basically, it's my hard work, it's my hard labor. And I started off, not really knowing all the ins and outs of copyright and all that stuff. So I'll admit that, I'm getting better as that goes along. I wasn't really familiar. I had no no professional training in how to do documentaries, films, and or any of that stuff. So I'm learning as I go. So I apologize, for anyone out there who I may have used their graphics or their slides or something without giving credit to the actual author or anything. So I'm going to make sure to keep doing that in the future. I'm going to make sure to, credit everyone where I can. And, I do want to have complete integrity. I do want to have complete credibility. So and I want to be professional in my presentation. So going on in the future, I will continue to do that to the best of my ability. If I'm not aware that something is from someone or somewhere, I do the best I can to try and source all of that stuff. But that's one of the main reasons why I'm afraid, I'm afraid to do a book or anything like that, or anything, basically professional like that, is because, it's basically the whole concept of intellectual property is really, I see it as a real, it has real value and legitimacy, but at the same time, it's a legal corporate code and statute, and it's not actual law. When we get into natural law, it's about infringing upon someone's free will choice, doing someone harm or to their property. When we get into the realm of mentalism and intellectual property, this is one of the main problems we have with it. Me and my friends Stefan and Christina and Jason Lindgren of Secrets of Saturn and all of us, we've discussed this in our own private groups and stuff, is about how hindering intellectual property is. In science, the concept of patenting, of patenting, while it has practical applications, it also at the same time it has extreme limitations. For basically what it all comes down to is it comes down to money, and our monetary system is basically the wrench that is thrown into it's the ultimate, it binds and ties back and holds back the true progress of intellectual advancement, of basically, you know, how everyone will withhold their own inventions for the betterment of humanity, and you know, the completely reverse the paradigms, completely shattered paradigms, and bring us into a whole new era of technology, of basically suppressed science or black budget programs. You know, all these patents that have been black shelved by government programs and things, and are actively being used and employed and implemented in government black budget programs to basically be weaponized. If it can't be weaponized, then it's not. Then it's basically, it's placed in the black box, and you know, we never hear or see from it again. And the brilliant inventors such as Stan Meyer, the water engine, and all these other inventors of free energy technologies, you know, sustainable technologies, regenerative technologies, as we were talking about, negentropic technologies that harness the ambient energy and the implosive force of nature itself, which is the true power, which is coherence, which is structure. The true power is found in order, which is the true order is uniformity, which is the pattern of flow, the power of fluid dynamics, which all energy is fluid dynamics. So, but I forget where I'm going. You know, I can ramble about all these things. So I'm sorry I get so far off topic, guys. But yeah, it's just how it goes. But yeah, I hope I'm answering your questions succinctly. Let me check and make sure, see if I'm missing any super chats or anyone bringing up any topics that I may be missing along the way. Nope, still no super chats. Okay. All right. Well, super chats are appreciated, guys. If you want to, you know, throw me a bone here, you know, it's always appreciated. But if not, I will scroll back up through here and see what else we got. Let me see where we left off. I want to try not to miss anyone if you guys have been waiting patiently. But yeah, so I don't want to miss anyone. So yeah, that was basically it about Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, the archetype of the bringer of wisdom, you know, which is the archetype of the mind itself. You know, Thoth is a moon god, which you know, I don't want to get too deep into any of this stuff, because I'm basically, it's all for the presentations, it's all for the full films and in the full articles. You can find those on patreon.com/liftingtheveil if you're interested in, you know, seeing more about that. But yeah, Thoth, the moon, you know, the archetypal deity of the moon, which the moon pertains to the mind, to mentalism, to mentality of mensis, you know, men, the roots, this root word of men, manos, mind, minos, on and on and on. It's one of the richest etymological root words that we have, and it spans across all cultures through Sanskrit of the root word of manas, meaning mind, also meaning spirit. So it's the realm of spirit, which is mind, which is the extended mind, not located inside the physical brain, although, as I'm going to show, the archetype of Thoth is actually found directly inside the brain, and it corresponds anatomically, as I'm going to show sometime in the, I don't know when I'm going to, you know, I have thought about just releasing it as a graphic on Facebook, but then I've done so you guys haven't seen like anything that I've been working on for the past year or so. I've been just blowing my own mind with how much has been coming through. So it kind of feels like I'm, you know, going crazy with how many directions I'm being pulled at all at once. You know, so many different projects I'm working on and all that stuff. But yeah, let me see if I can bring this up real quick. I know I can just do it. I can just do the graphic, but I might actually want to show my, you know, make the big debut of, you know, the software that I've been using to model a lot of these things, but it takes me a little while to go through and pull this up, so let me see what I can do. Where is it? So that's why I hope you guys can enjoy the nice backtracking in the meantime while I'm, you know, trying to pull up some of these things. But basically, essentially, Thoth is the midbrain, you know, to summarize, to give, you know, to let the cat out of the bag. Thoth, you know, Thoth. Okay, so Thoth corresponds to the midbrain, but I don't really, I'm reluctant to show you exactly how and why yet. You know, like I said, I don't want to reveal everything too quick, but yeah. But so that's what it's all about. It's about the, you know, the moon, the mentality, the mind. You know, it's in Roman became, you know, Greek Hermes became Roman Mercury. Mercury pertains in astrology to the mind, to, you know, Quicksilver, you know, which is the quick thoughts. The, you know, Mercury is the quickest planet to orbit the sun. So, you know, that's the mythological resonance of Mercury's speed, you know, the speed of the gods. He is the messenger from between heaven. He's the, you know, one of the only gods who is the messenger between the realms of heaven and hell, so between heaven and the underworld. So in other words, he represents the central nervous system of the human anatomy. And let me see if I can bring up this. Woo, okay, where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay, my slides. My saved. Am I signed in? My screens. Okay, here we go. Thoth in the brain. I haven't, and this will be the big debut. I haven't revealed any of this. So I'm not gonna pull it up for too long because like I said, I don't want to blow the load too quickly. I don't want to, you know, let the prematurely. Don't want to let the cat out of the bagel just yet. But let's see. I'm sorry for so much, you know, latent time. I'm still trying to get the hang of this. I can't pull these things up in two windows at once. Okay, two windows at once. Two windows at once. Screen share. This should be able to freaking do it while I am clicked off of. Yeah, I'm not a technological master, that's for sure. Okay, so it doesn't transition while I am not on. Great. Well, that kind of sucks. Okay, sorry about the wait time, you guys. I'm trying to do this so I can give you the big debut. Boom, boom, boom. Thoth corresponding to the midbrain within the pawns, the midbrain. Thoth. This is my own original discovery. Nobody else has ever done anything relating to this, and yes, I know it can be construed as pareidolia, and although I've got a lot more to back this up, this is not just the one symbolic aspect. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on about, you know, about all of this, but that is basically, I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of this. But thank you guys so much for my patrons, by the way, my patrons who have enabled me to basically expand my repertoire into, number one, just acquiring all the technological aspects that I need, basically the hardware, the software to do these broadcasts and these live streams. I've been trying to build something a lot more comprehensive, but yeah, so thank you so much for all my patrons, all my supporters, for allowing me to be, and there's a lot more that I still want to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade to, there's a lot of live stream broadcasting software and, you know, things that I want to do as well. There's a lot of gadgets, and, you know, I need to upgrade to an HD webcam. I need to upgrade to basically to a camcorder. That way I can, you know, I can take that with me wherever I go, so I can just start doing vlogs and, you know, document my, you know, my thoughts and some of my ideas as I go. But yeah, so there's a lot more, you know, I'm planning on building all this out, but basically main thing is I need a studio, you know, basically a good location where I can broadcast and do all this stuff from. So yeah, that was the big debut of, you know, Thoth and the Midbrain. I've got a lot more to go with that, and I've included it in a lot of my full presentations in my recent massive theological presentation of the Savior within you, which is basically about the inner Christ within, which I've covered in the Symbols of Power series, but this goes much more deeper than anyone has ever gone, a lot deeper than George Carey, and this is actual, I'm talking real provable medical anatomy and real provable biology, not just, I love George Carey and I love God, man, the Word made flesh and everything, and, you know, I love what I do. I loved, you know, and started out with what Santos did with the Christ within, and, you know, the Christos and all of that. And, you know, so everyone else has done some good work around that, but what I have built upon that is absolutely groundbreaking. It's absolutely staggering. I mean, it really is. There's so many original discoveries that I will absolutely blow your mind. So those will be full films coming up in the future. It's going to take a lot of production work to get that, you know, to get that out. I mean, it's huge. It's basically like an ebook in and of itself. But so it's huge. I mean, it's massive. It's monumental. But I have included the Thoth and many other aspects about esoteric anatomy and internal alchemy within all of this presentation. So that's why I'm sort of stumbling upon, you know, my thoughts here, because I don't want, you know, I'm trying not to give away the big mind-blowing pieces, you know, here in just these live streams, you know, especially because I'm going to do, you know, maybe basically webinars, webcasts, you know, future presentations. I would like to do conferences and stuff. My friend Sarah Adams, if you're out there, Sarah, if you're watching this, she invited me to do a conference in LA. It was supposed to be, I think, this month, but I haven't heard anything back from her. She was supposed to be doing one in LA and then one in London also. So, Sarah, if you watch this, if you're out there, if you're listening, let me know how things are going with that. I would love to present all of this esoteric anatomy, all this, everything I do in my films and stuff in, you know, in conferences and all of that. I would actually like to do, I've been wanting to do start my own conference, my own Lifting the Veil conference and all of that for my friends, for the people who do real, hardcore, deep esoteric research, for my homie Truthersy, my mentor Christopher Lord, who unfortunately has dropped out of the scene because, you know, nobody supported him. You know, not only that, everyone tried to tear him down and break him down, especially you flat earthers, you know, trying to tear down our teachers. You know, everyone's taking everything. And so this is why I've been reluctant to present a lot of my material, number one, on just my live streams, on my Facebook posts as well. I don't want to put it out especially not on Instagram, because you put something out on Instagram, everyone takes it and, you know, will repeat it, and, you know, no one gives due credit. No one does actual research, and no one is credible, and people will take it, misrepresent it, take it and spin it. They'll take it and, you know, profit off it as their own, which, you know, that's a huge thing about how monetization is just ruining everything to do with the advancement of human knowledge and human progress. But yeah, man, that's one of the things that I'm so disappointed about, is I miss Truthersy. You know, I miss my friend, my good friend and mentor, Chris. You know, he's the reason why I am doing everything on this, not everything on this channel, but so much of what I've gotten into and what has taken me to the level that I'm now at, and have progressed even far beyond that, beyond what anyone else that I've seen presenting anywhere. And, you know, most people don't like the way he speaks or anything like that. That's the most common criticisms. But, you know, it just goes back into, you know, cult of personality. People are so caught up in personality. And yes, I thank you so much, Sandman, for the what is it, the super chat. I will get to you here in just a minute. I want to try to kind of wrap up the thought that I was unraveling, but I forget where I was going with any of that. So yeah, maybe okay, so Sandman has super chat donated $5 or £5. Thank you so much, Sandman. I and I apologize. I don't want to be offensive, to any of you guys or anything. And your thoughts, your comments, your criticisms are valid, and I respect everything like that. But again, it all needs to be credible. Okay, so he says, "Keep it real, mate. Integrity is all we can hope for in ourselves. You are a crap liar, anyways." Wink. Okay, so I don't know what that means. Yeah, I know I'm a crap liar. I can't lie for worth a darn. I'm having to watch my language here, so it comes off as very inauthentic. Because I am pretty vulgar with my speech. I mean, my thoughts can be very deep, but I like to keep things at a base level. Basically for comedic effect. I think I was covering this in last week's live stream, but got cut off. But yeah, that's one of the main things. Is I have one of the most crude sense of humors that you'll ever hear and I swear you guys have no idea. So I do want to try and incorporate that into some of my into my videos and my films and my presentations, as well as I'm going to start doing that for the vlogs and stuff, where I don't have to censor myself or anything, especially for, YouTube just sucks with the demonetization. So okay, all of that aside, let's get back into some more. This is supposed to be about interacting with you guys. So let's see what else we got here. But oh yeah, where I was going with that thought was, that doing conferences and stuff is, I would love to present this stuff. So if you guys, I was getting invitations to some conferences and stuff, a couple years back, before I even actually really knew what I was doing. And that's one of the things that I've noticed that's pretty unfortunate, is that I've noticed a trend in the topic of information sharing. And I'm not talking about like scholarly, but I'm talking about fringe topics, like things like conspiracy and things like esoterica and topics like that. Is there's not a whole lot of scholarly research that goes on out there, but back when I really I was really just getting started, and I was very naive a couple years ago, and that's when I had the most impact. Unfortunately, things went viral, things blew up really easily, it created a huge sensational thing and all of that. And honestly, I was naive. I didn't even really know what I was talking about, and I didn't even really know how little I knew at the time. Don't get me wrong, I still knew a whole hell of a lot, and but nowhere near like what I'm learning on a daily basis now, and what I'm getting into now as I'm refining myself, I'm honing myself, I'm trying to hold myself, I'm trying to sculpt my masterpiece. I'm trying to, refine, to smooth out what was once a rough ashlar, and to polish my ashlar into a finished cornerstone. And huge side note on the cornerstone is basically, I'm putting together a sort of, I'm trying not to spend too much time on it because I've got so many other things going on, but came across, was getting deep into the onomancy of my name, of Cullen, Kellen, from ancient Celtic or Gaelic, Druidic, Culean, which means holly, holly comes from holy, hallowed, which is the holy bloodline. It literally translates to the holy bloodlines, referring to the ancient Druidic order of Druidism, and it refers to the wise one of the forest. Literally means the green god, refers to the green man, the wild one of the forest. The Druidic wisdom, the wise elder, the wizard of the forest, the Druidic order. And so that's a huge onomancy of my name, and so that's one of my huge passions, and I'm going to do a full presentation on that in the future. I'm compiling all of my examples, and I posted it in Michael Tazarian's Female Illuminati Facebook group as just a rough outline, but I'm going through and I'm adding a lot more of the symbolism and a lot more of the linguistic roots about all of that. But yeah, basically Gaelic Druidic Culean comes from the roots of Qui, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I have it archived in the presentation. It basically means cornerstone, or it means that for the tree of the corner of the forest, the So it's, it's the cornerstone. So yeah, it's amazing how deeply symbolic the onomancy of our names are. And so I'm gonna do a full presentation on that in the future. Maybe just a short video, maybe just a 5-minute video to kind of introduce you to the topic. But I also want to do a full presentation outlaying countless examples of how it ties into everything from the resonance of our name to the linguistics of the name, the etymology of the names, the symbolic, archetypal, mythological, subconscious nature that plays out throughout our daily lives, that it influences who we are. It literally makes us who we are. Who we are is shaped not just by our name, but it's a two-way pathway. It's not our name, the resonance of the history of the linguistic roots of what we're named shapes who we become, but there's many aspects that tie in and that sink in with all of that actually make a solid case for it. Number one, it's astrological. The resonance of the stars, the music of the spheres, the syncing of the planetary bodies that are interchanging electrically. They're producing electrical discharges and magnetic forces of electrical Birkeland currents that are transmitting between all physical bodies, all gaseous bodies throughout the entire electric universe itself, as brilliantly continually expanded upon by the electric universe theory, by the Thunderbolts project. One of my great mentors, someone I really look up to, Wal Thornhill. He's a hero of mine. I love the guy, just genuine. I mean, one of the best people on Earth. Literally one of my favorite people on Earth. But yeah, how the planets, literally astrologically, not just airy-fairy, cosmopolitan level astrology, like, oh, if you're a Scorpio, you're a great kiss.